Welcome to Etihad Focus, your number one spot for the latest match updates, transfer news, and inside training coverage. If you love football, you're in the right place. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any breaking updates. Let's get started. Pep Guardiola has already won over Manchester United. Transfer target's mum, Manchester City boss. Pep Guardiola was clear about his admiration of an English talent who is also being eyed up by Manchester United. Pep Guardiola has already made his thoughts clear on Manchester United target Alex Scott by paying him the ultimate compliment. The Manchester City manager once described the central midfielder as an unbelievable player. That was after the then 19-year-old played for Bristol City against his side back in early 2023 in an FA Cup game. If that glowing endorsement from one of the greatest managers ever wasn't enough, Jack Grealish also labelled the teenager a top talent at the time. Scott, now 22, has gone from strength to strength since then, becoming a key player at Bournemouth under Andoni Iraola. His impressive displays since his £25 million move to the South Coast have unsurprisingly seen him linked with several top Premier League sides. City have been amongst them, as have neighbours United. Speaking about Guardiola's comments in 2024, the England U21 star revealed how his mother was left particularly delighted by the praise. To hear that from who I regard as one of the best managers of all time, it's a good feeling. It was amazing, said Scott. It was a great feeling and my mum enjoyed it probably even more than me. He didn't have to say that, but to say it about an opposition player shows the respect he has and why he's gone so far in the game. Guardiola was incredible at Barcelona with that great team with Lionel Messi. I grew up with Guardiola as a manager and that whole team was just incredible. Xavi and Andres Iniesta. Messi doing his magic. He had brilliant midfielders at Bayern Munich with Thiago. And now he's at Man City with Rodri, who for me is one of the best players in the Premier League. Yet, he could end up playing for Guardiola's cross-city rivals, United, who have made signing a midfielder their priority for 2026. The Old Trafford club appear to be biding their time, however, with recently sacked manager Ruben Amorim suggesting there will be no new arrivals of note in January prior to his dismissal. Having appointed Michael Carrick as interim boss until the end of the season, United are expected to instead splash out in the summer on more than one midfield signing. Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, João Gomez and Carlos Baleba are all being linked with a move to Old Trafford. Scott must be doing something right if he is being considered amongst such company by United Chiefs, having received his first England senior call-up by Thomas Tuchel in November 2025. Should the Red Devils successfully fend off rival clubs and secure his signature, they may well have a future Three Lions star on their hands. The reasons Man City moved for Marc Guéhi became clear versus Manchester United. Manchester City were well beaten in the Manchester derby, as goals from Bryan Mbeumo and Patrick Dorgu gave the home side the win. It was a derby day to forget for Manchester City, but the prospect of Marc Guéhi arriving to strengthen a squad in desperate need of defensive reinforcements does at least mean brighter times could lie ahead. City were well beaten by Manchester United at Old Trafford, and their performance offered nothing and deserved nothing. A victory in midweek at Newcastle United means City have one foot in the Carabao Cup final, and a similar outcome in Norway against Bodo/Glimt on Tuesday could secure a top 8 Champions League spot. Not that that will offer much comfort to Blues fans in the hours and days after Saturday lunchtime's defeat. But the capture of Guéhi is a show of intent from Pep Guardiola and Hugo Viana, and with injuries biting in the backline, it felt imperative that City strengthened in that area this month. The dismal Derby Day defeat highlighted the difference Guéhi could make. City again began with Max Alain and Abdulkadir Kusanov at the heart of the defence, with Nathan Ake on the left, and all three suffered nervous starts at Old Trafford. Alaini played a straightforward pass, which Ake couldn't keep in, and the pair repeated the error a few minutes later before the 20-year-old was caught in possession on the halfway line and almost presented Bryan Mbeumo with a clear run on goal, but Gianluigi Donnarumma was quickly off his line. Alaini had been faultless in his 2 cup showings prior to his Premier League debut, but a derby away at Old Trafford is a different beast. Alaini and Kusanov are a rookie and developing pair who may well turn into excellent top-flight performers, but they're not there yet. Kusanov played a poor pass inside the opening 10 minutes, which again required Donnarumma to be alert to sweep up the danger. The Uzbekistan international was sloppy in possession in the opening quarter, miscontrolling on more than one occasion when under no pressure. But City's defensive options were limited. Nico O'Reilly, who played in midfield at Newcastle in midweek, could have started at left back, as could Rayan Aït-Nouri, who has only recently returned from the Africa Cup of Nations. That would have seen Ake move inside, but with Ruben Dias, John Stones and Josko Gvardiol injured and Matheus Nunes missing through illness at right back, it was a case of needs must. O'Reilly came on for Aline at the break, but was booked inside 2 minutes of his arrival, while Lewis was caught napping for Patrick Dorgu to score United's second. Ake struggled time and again with the home side's counter-attacking play. Kusanov grew into the contest and made a couple of telling interceptions and interventions, further underlining the potential the 21-year-old possess. Having impressed at right back early in the campaign before injury intervened, he's shown his credentials in the centre of defence. He's far from the finished article, but the early signs are good, as they generally have been with Elene across 2.5 outings. Kusanov, Elene and Vitor Reis offer City next-generation depth, although at least one of that trio is likely to be away on loan next term. Those three might well be part of City's future, but Guehi is for the here and now. He was no doubt watching events unfold on Saturday ahead of his expected move to the Etihad next week, and the 25-year-old will strengthen City's backline for years to come. With Ake and Stones set to depart in the summer, Guehi will join Dias and Gvardiol as centre-back options, with the latter also capable of playing at left-back. Guehi has been a standout performer in the Premier League and is surely a certain starter for England at the World Cup this summer. The £20 million fee is a snip for a player of his calibre, while he is a physical presence and also a player calm in possession. Since the opening day of last season, Guehi ranks in the Premier League top 10 for line-breaking passes, duels won and aerial duels won, highlighting his all-round game. City's all-round game was found wanting at Old Trafford. They've always wanted Guehi. Pep Guardiola gives Marc Guehi to Manchester City transfer update. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola spoke about Marc Guehi's move from Crystal Palace in the January transfer window. Pep Guardiola said that he believed Marc Guehi was close to joining Manchester City, but has not had confirmation from his bosses. Hugo Viana and Ferran Soriano were at Old Trafford for the 2-0 derby defeat, and are apparently yet to tell the manager that a deal is done for the Crystal Palace defender. City expect the £20 million transfer to be completed in the coming days, with Guehi not travelling with his Palace teammates for their Premier League game at Sunderland at the weekend. The 25-year-old is not eligible to play for City in the Champions League first phase, so does not need to be rushed into the squad in time for the game against Bodo Glimt on Tuesday, meaning his debut could be against Wolves on Saturday. "I don't know yet officially from my club," said Guardiola. "When I think you will know it, I will know when they tell me. Apparently it's close, but I spoke now with Ferran and Hugo, and they didn't tell me anything about it." Guardiola was forced into a defensive change at half-time at Old Trafford with the plan not working for City. With John Stones, Ruben Dias and Josko Gvardiol all out injured, Max Alane was replaced by Nico O'Reilly at the break in what was a tough afternoon for the 20-year-old who had played so well in his first 3 games for the club. City will hope Alane is better for the experience of his first